Welcome back to the poker vlog. This is episode number 217, and this is a really special episode for me for a variety of reasons. First of all, the hands that I get into are really cool and interesting, so be sure to stick around for every one of those. And then also, you know, some personal stuff that's going on. I'm at my family home in California right now. I'll get into more of that later, but it's been just several weeks since I put out the last video. I've been firing super hard in WSOP and WPT events. I've had the best summer of my life in terms of tournament scores. I got on the board several times, was really close to some big scores, but didn't quite get there. And I did get there in cash games though, so I can't wait to put out those videos. I played with Phil Ivey and just had a blast with that. That's gonna be coming up soon, so be on the lookout for that. Right now, I want to say two announcements. The first one is that we have a meetup game July 26th at the Lodge right outside of Austin. Me, Doug, and Andrew are going to be playing 1-2 all day, and that's going to be a special low stakes meetup game. Then Andrew and I are going out to the Tampa Hard Rock, so very excited for that. I'll be there at the end of August and the first several days in September for the main event. But we're doing a meetup game on September 1st, so I'll have more information in the description box below. And I've got some personal stuff going on right now. I'll get into that at the end of this episode. But for now, I just hope you enjoy this, and let's go ahead and get into it. Andrew and I are driving from Las Vegas to Los Angeles while watching the heads-up match between Doug Polk and Jungle Man at the Lodge. We arrive in time to explore the town a little. Then the next day, we're ready to play some 5-5 no limit at the Hustler Casino for the meetup game. We've got 12 games going. I buy in for 1,000, which is the max. We get started right after 1 p.m. In my first table, we see Gonzo once again. You've seen him in a few vlogs now, including the last one from Austin.
Vengan a los juegos de Brad, muy divertidos. Saludos a México.
45 minutes in, we're playing an 8-handed $15 PLO double board bomb pot. We've got King, Queen, Jack 4 with more hearts than we'd like. The hearts don't matter much, as the first flop is King, Jack, Jack. We have the second nuts with a flopped full house. The second board is 9-5-3 Rainbow. We don't have much there. Gonzo bets 25 from under the gun. The middle position player slides in the raise to 135. The cutoff isn't afraid to get in there. He calls. We pretty much have the top board locked up. If someone has pocket kings, that's incredibly unfortunate. Since we have nothing on the bottom board, we want as many players involved as possible so we can hopefully chop up extra money. I call to 135. Small blind and big blind fold. Gonzo has a decision to make. It's a bit too suspicious that the cutoff and I flatted the raise. Gonzo folds. It's down to 3 of us, and the middle position player has a short stack. The top turn is the 8 of hearts. It's a beautiful blank. The bottom turn is the deuce of hearts, giving us a flush draw. It turns out hearts are relevant in this hand after all. The short stack rips it in for 210. The cutoff calls. I like the situation that we're in. We check our cards one more time just to make sure that we have what we think we do. A blank on the top river and a heart on the bottom would be amazing. We call, leaving the stack with 470. The cutoff has us covered, so there could be a side pot. The top river is the 3 of clubs. It's more blank than the Detroit Lions win column. The bottom river is the Queen of diamonds, giving us top pair. The middle position player is already all in. The cutoff checks. We almost 100% have the best hand on the top board, and we have some value on the bottom board as well. We can basically free roll an all in for 470. There's some chance that we can scoop both boards against a cutoff. If not, there's a possibility that we can get the cutoff to fold the best hand on the bottom board, and perhaps we can scoop against the other opponent who's all in. I announce that we're all in. The cutoff doesn't hesitate. He calls. I turn over the second nuts and top pair. I'm up against the one hand that wrecks my world.
Wow, kings.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
At the bottom.
All right, I lost. You scoop me. Do you have me covered?
Yeah, I have 500. So
Okay.
2 and
So you get the last bet's all yours.
yeah,
Yep.
that's 4.
Pocket Kings wins the top board and beats my pair of queens on the bottom board to scoop the side pot over $900. The other opponent wins half the main pot with a set of 9s. We're not even an hour in, and I'm already stuck at $1,000. After adding on for another 1,000, I meet world champion figure skater and Olympic silver medalist Brandon Frazier. He brightens up my day by bringing me an Olympic team jacket. Very cool. Maybe it'll bring us some luck as we pick up pocket 6s under the gun at the third table. We haven't won a hand yet, and we've been playing for over 2 hours. I raised to 15. Under the gun +1 calls, the hijack calls, and the big blind calls. We're going 4 ways to the flop. It comes ace-8 deuce with 2 clubs. We've got almost nothing. No one else seems to have anything either. We all check. The turn is the 6 of diamonds, giving us a set. The big blind checks. We're going for value. We bet 35, expecting to get 0 or maybe just 1 caller since it checked around on the previous street. Instead, all the opponents call. 4 of us are still in it. We're very likely up against some drawing hands. The river is the 3 of clubs completing the flush draw. Some straights get there as well. Not a good card for us. The big blind checks. I can't bet again with 3 opponents on that run out. I check to keep the pot manageable. Under the gun +1 checks. The hijack bets 75. It's a small sizing. The big blind folds. There's no reason to think that under the gun +1 will have us beat after he checked. I don't feel good about this, but I call because I'd be on mega tilt if we folded, and it turned out that we got bluffed, or that the hijack was value betting 2 pair. Under the gun +1 does fold. The hijack shows that he has the winner with 9-7 of clubs, turned a straight draw to go along with his flush draw, then got there on the river. It's been a painful start. 2 hours and 15 minutes in, we're still looking for our first win of the session when we pick up Jack 10 suited on the button. A player in middle position raises to 20. We call, the small blind calls, the big blind calls as well. We're going 4 ways to the flop in position. It comes King 6-6 rainbow. Not much going on for us. We all check. The turn is the 9 of hearts. We pick up a gutter. Small blind bets 50. I don't quite believe that he has a big hand. The big blind and middle position player fold. I'm not in the mood to fold. Calling with the straight draw while there's a flush draw on board of the wrong suit doesn't seem like a great plan either. I raised to 130 to represent a hand like pocket 9s. Mostly, I just want to get my opponent to fold whatever he's pretending to have. He probably has some type of draw as well. If he calls, we can continue firing as a bluff on the river, or we can maybe drill a queen and bet for value. The small blind calls for 80 more, it's down to heads up. The river is the queen of spades, giving us a straight. There's not much better than semi-bluffing and getting there. The small blind checks. If we missed, I was planning to bomb it. In this case, we got there and need to stay balanced. I make it 400 to charge the opponent if he really wants to see what we've got. He's suspicious that we don't have anything. Even with the purest of bluff catchers, the opponent folds. He may have had a hand like Queen 9 or 10-9 with no heart. We take down the first pot of the session for us. Maybe that'll spark a winning streak. We pick up pocket 6s once again. We're on the button in a straddle pot. Under the gun +1 raises to 40. That's a healthy amount. I call. Small blind wants to get in there. He calls as well. 3 of us are advancing to the next round. The flop comes Queen 6-3 rainbow. We have middle set in a multi-way pot. The small blind checks. Under the gun +1 is going to continue a story that he has something strong. He bets 50. On such a dry board, with us being in position, we don't need to make a move just yet. We call to set the trap. Small blind doesn't want to stick around. He folds. It's heads up. The turn is the king of diamonds. Not particularly great since the opponent could have improved to a set of kings. Very small chance that's the case though. If we get set over set and go broke, I can live with it. Under the gun +1 increases the sizing to 200. I was planning to raise if the bet size were smaller, but that would look super strong over a $200 bet here. I'm not convinced that the opponent actually has a hand. It appears that he's trying to induce a fold. If he really had a set, I don't know that he'd bet that much. I call to keep the opponent's bluffs in. The river is the 7 of clubs. It's a blank. I'm glad it wasn't a diamond because I was a bit worried that we could have been up against a hand like ace-jack or ace-10 of diamonds. After we called such a large bet on the turn, under the gun +1 could be concerned that we have a hand like the one that we've got. He checks. That's disappointing. I bet 450 to get calls from hands like king-queen, ace-king, and pocket aces. Under the gun +1 doesn't have any of those holdings. He folds face up, showing that he had ace-deuce of diamonds. The 3 of diamonds could have been a fun river card. Still, it's nice to win a solid pot. With this one coming our way, our stack climbs to 1400. I'm in for 2200, so I'm still down 800 on the session. Here we're dealt Queen Jack of diamonds in the hijack. It's a straddle pot. I raised to 30. I'm like a Chick-fil-A. I never have any shortage of customers. The cutoff calls. The under the gun straddler also calls. We're going 3 ways to the flop. It's Queen 9 deuce, all spades. We've got top pair on a coordinated board. Under the gun checks. Taking a stab at it is probably okay. I bet 65. I'll be concerned if we get much resistance though. The cutoff doesn't like his cards. He folds. The under the gun player isn't as quick to let go. He calls. He could just have one high spade in his hand that he wants to see at least one more card with. It's heads up. The turn is the jack of clubs, giving us top 2 pair. Under the gun checks. I'm not sure if he's slow playing a strong hand or if we have him beat. We should have at least full house outs if we're behind. I bet 200. I'd hate to see a check raised though. Under the gun calls again. Now I'm really not sure if we have the best hand. The river is the 8 of clubs, not good for us since any hand containing a 10 improves to beat us. Under the gun checks, we check back. The river partially saved us because the opponent flopped a flush with 8-5 of spades. Just as we were getting some momentum going, we lose a few hundred to be down over 1,000 again. Next we've got ace queen of hearts in the cutoff while the under the gun straddles on. I make it 30. That isn't enough of a deterrent to get people out. The button, big blind, and under the gun all call. We're going 4 ways to the flop. It comes jack 3 deuce with 2 hearts. We have a flush draw, 2 overs, and a backdoor straight draw. It checks to us. With multiple opponents, I want to make sure that we have the opportunity to see the turn and river so that we can make a big hand. I check. The button checks as well. The turn is the 10 of spades, giving us a Broadway draw. The big blind can't hold back anymore. He bets 80. Under the gun folds. I get the sense that the big blind has a monster. We have a hand with plenty of potential. We call to try to realize our equity. The button folds. It's down to heads up. The river is the 5 of hearts, giving us the best hand that the world has ever seen. There isn't a better one possible. The opponent knows that he's in trouble. He checks himself before he wrecks himself. Make no mistake, he'll still get wrecked though. We make almost a pot-sized bet at 250. I might play this hand similarly with ace-king offsuit and the ace of hearts. The opponent is tanking hard. He's mumbling to himself. He's probably replaying the action in his mind, and he's thinking that if I had a flush draw on the flop, maybe I would have bet at that point, but I didn't, so he's going to discount us having flushes. Meanwhile, all we're thinking about is Vegas and the fucking Mirage. After almost a minute, the opponent calls. We show him the nuts. We never see what the big blind has. He returns his cards face down to the dealer. It's not the 1st or the 15th, but we still get paid. Sure, we're down plenty this session. I'd appreciate it if you'd stop thinking about that part. It's really killing the vibe here. Let's just enjoy this moment. Let's also enjoy this moment when we look down at pocket aces in the small blind. Under the gun +1 raises to 25. A player in middle position 3-bets to 75. Things are heating up as the cutoff cold calls the 3-bet. Wow, this is set up perfectly for us. I'm thinking about how great of a hand this will be for the vlog, and that's right when I run out of storage space on my phone and the clip cuts off. I kid you not. I can't hold up the game, so I scramble as quickly as I can to go back and delete past videos. Once I get the camera back to functioning, we see that I cold 4-bet to 300. When I cold 4-bet after an early position raise, a middle position 3-bet, and a late position cold call, I'll have a ton of possible hands. Let's go ahead and take a look at the range right now. You can see that the only hand highlighted for us to have under these circumstances is in the top left with 2 aces. But make no mistake, I'll have all the combos of those 2 aces. Sometimes I'll have the ace of spades and the ace of hearts. Other times I'll have maybe the ace of clubs and the ace of hearts. In this specific instance, I'm at the absolute bottom of my range with the ace of clubs and the ace of diamonds, the 2 worst aces in the deck. We're basically using this combination as the bluff portion of our range. Under the gun +1 probably has some type of read that we have the worst hand that we'll ever have in this scenario because he 5-bet rips it in for 670 total. This is the same player who we beat in the previous hand with ace queen of hearts. He might be after us. The middle position player has a monster, but any hand that isn't containing the other 2 aces is going to feel like rags after seeing a cold 4-bet followed by a 5-bet shove. The middle position player folds, cutoff folds. As much as I'd like to trap this moment in a jar so that I can go back and enjoy it on days when I'm feeling down, I'm not sure that we've deleted enough videos to create an adequate amount of space to capture this hand if we drag it out any longer. I call as soon as we're able to. We're heads up and a huge all-in pot. I figured that we're up against some other Broadway pocket pair or ace-king. The flop comes queen-jack-4 with 2 diamonds. I don't love it.
It's not great.
We might be up against a set or a straight draw. I really don't want to see a king or a 10. I'm not worried about a flush draw since we have the ace of diamonds. The turn is the 5 of clubs. It's a blank. The river is another jack. It's not the worst run out. We show our hand. Someone call Elon Musk to let him know that we've got some rockets that are good. The opponent once again doesn't show us what he had, and it doesn't seem like we coolered him. He may have 5-bet shoved light. The middle position player would let us know that he 3-bet, then subsequently folded ace-king, so there aren't a lot of ace-king combos or even pocket-king combos that the under-the-gun +1 player could have had. With this win, we're much closer to the even mark. I thought that we had very little chance at getting unstuck. Now it's within reach. We're only down about 200. Cancel our evening appointments. I'm making it our mission not to leave until we get every penny back. Just a few hands later, we have pocket queens under the gun and are looking to destroy people. We raise to 20. A player in middle position is out to get torched. He 3-bets to 65 with 520 total in his stack. This is a strong play over my early position raise. We want to keep the opponent's bluffs in and don't want to get all of it in if the opponent has a monster. For those reasons, we flat for 45 more. We're heads up out of position. If we're going to get unstuck, we're going to need all the help that we can get. You know what time it is. On the count of 3, hit the like button for extra run good and hit it hard. Ready? 1, 2, 3. The flop comes Queen 9-3 rainbow. We flop top set. The dealers at the Hustler must be fans of 90s pop because they hit us baby one more time. We unassumingly check it over. The middle position player tries to rep what we've got. He bets 50. With the absolute nuts and virtually nothing to worry about on this board, we call to set the trap. The opponent didn't start out with too many chips, so we should be able to get everything by the end of the hand. The turn is the 7 of spades, putting the flush draw out there. Our hand remains the best possible one. I check once more. The middle position player is like a Heisman Trophy winner in a white Bronco. He's not slowing down. He bets 135, leaving himself with 270 back. I just don't think that he has it, mostly because we have it. We call again to let the opponent dig himself into a larger hole. The river is the king of hearts. It's not great because we could have been up against pocket kings. Jack 10 also makes a straight, but at least the flush draw misses. The next sequence of events happens quickly, so pay close attention. The opponent got fancy by 3-betting us pre-flop with pocket 7s. We get a dream flop, then our trap works out to perfection as the player turns a lower set. A new portal opens up to the upside down world as our monster is revealed and we capture the opponent's soul. What's even better is that for the first time today, we're above the even mark. Please uncancel the evening plans. We've gotten every penny back faster than expected. In fact, we've still got some more time left in the meetup game to increase our profit. We're in for 2,200 and have 2,450 in front of us. What a wild day. At our 6th table of the night, we're playing a $20 PLO double bomber. We've got ace 9-8 deuce with 2 diamonds. The first flop comes out queen 7-6 with 2 diamonds, giving us a flush draw and an open ender. The second flop is king 9-8 with 2 hearts. We've got bottom 2 pair there. We're in the big blind with quite a bit going on for us. We bet 80. The bet doesn't quite go as planned. Under the gun calls, the hijack calls, then the button puts in a raise to 400. This player's named Rafi. He's been to a bunch of meetup games and also has piles of chips in front of him. I don't hate folding in this scenario because we could be crushed. We're up against pocket kings again, particularly if he has a diamond draw to go with it. We're still at least drawing to the nuts with our open-ended straight draw. I call for 320 more. If we don't significantly improve on the next street, then we're out of here. Under the gun and the hijack fold, it's down to heads up. The turn is the 8 of clubs, giving us a pair. It's not really what we were looking for though. The bottom turn is the queen of spades. It's another card that isn't great for us. I check, hoping that we can get a check back. We don't get one as part of a refund for the 2021 tax year, and we don't get one from the button either. He fires for 700. That's more than I'd like to pay for the rivers. I fold. We'll never know if I would have won, but I was drawing extremely slim. The opponent is nice enough to show what he has.
7, 8, king, queen. You had me crushed. Yeah. I had a similar hand. I had 2 diamonds. I had 8, 9, 8 as well.
I 2 diamonds.
Yeah.
Am I beating you on both boards as of now?
You were beating me on both boards by a lot, yeah.
We're now into overtime with ace-king suited on the button. We're once again stuck several $100s. Maybe not for long though. Under the gun limps in for 5. In general, it's never a good idea to open limp. We raised to 30. Brandon Frazier has once again made his way over to our table after his previous table breaks. He's in the big blind and makes the call. The under the gun player calls for 25 more as well. We're going 3 ways to the flop in position. It's ace 3-3 with 2 diamonds. We have top on a paired board. Very little to worry about. It checks to us. I bet 35. It's a small bet to keep players in if they have some kind of draw or pocket pair. Both players call. I'm not too concerned about it because the turn is the ace of hearts, giving us a full house. It's checked to us. I don't think that we'll be able to get calls out of anything worse. I check back to feign weakness and hopefully induce a bluff from an opponent on the river. The dealer puts out the 9 of hearts, so the backdoor flush gets there. Our plan may have worked. Brandon Frazier comes out of nowhere with a $70 bet. It's as if he's been frozen for thousands of years. Then all of a sudden we were digging a pool in our backyard, found him, and he wakes up causing mayhem. Under the gun folds. It's possible that Brandon Frazier has a smaller full house or flush or something else that he thinks is better than our hand after we check back the turn. It's not often that we have a full house and someone bets into us. We need to get every ounce of value out of the situation that we can. It's time to wheeze the juice. We raised to 200. Brandon is in a tough spot if he doesn't have an ace. He's thinking about it. He must have something of value. He eventually folds face up, showing 3 deuce offsuit. He was trying to crack us and forced me to make a vlog about it. We show him that he made a good laydown. His devious plan almost worked, but we got a fortunate turn card.
Two in there, Brandon. You made it, dude.
Made a bad pre-flop call, but
With this win, we're about $100 short of being even. We can't quit yet. We pick up king queen suited in middle position. Under the gun raises to 20. With suited Broadway cards, we're feeling pretty good. We call. The player on our left named Ryan 3 bets to 80 from the hijack. Ryan has come all the way from Seattle. It's possible that he's trying to make the vlog like Brandon was, or perhaps the guy who 3-bet us with pocket sevens earlier. Under the gun folds. We've got plenty of playability. We call. It's heads up and we're out of position. The flop comes queen 10-4 with 2 clubs. We've got top pair, decent kicker, but it's a 3-bet pot. It's tough to know if we're good or not. I check. Ryan keeps things simple by betting 55. I don't see much reason to do anything other than call. We put 55 out there. I'd like the dealer to keep it low. The turn is the 7 of hearts. It's unlikely to have changed anything. I check. Due to inflation, the price is going up. The hijack makes it 150. I don't know if the opponent would have 3-bet pocket 10s over an early position raise, but we have a queen, making it so there's only one possible combo of a set of queens left that our opponent could have. It feels like we're up against ace-king, potentially ace-king of clubs, but that's one specific combo out of 12 combos of the hand that are still out there since we're holding a king as well. I call to see one final card. The river is the deuce of clubs. Flush draw gets there. I check. Not the card that I wanted to see. The opponent has 5-10 total and rips it all in. This isn't fun at all. If the opponent had a set or overpair, I don't think the player would jam once the flush draw gets there because I pretty easily could have a flush myself. The hijack is really only representing the nuts or maybe aces with the ace of clubs. It seems just as likely or maybe even more likely that the opponent could be doing this holding ace-king offsuit with the ace of clubs as a bluff.
That doesn't make a full ton of sense. Had to have been bluffing at some point in this hand.
The reason I say the hijack had to have been bluffing at least at some point in this hand is because the nuts have drastically changed from the flop to the river, yet the opponent has barreled all 3 streets and for progressively larger amounts. I have to think about this one. I'm very suspicious about this line that the hijack has taken, but I'm not just thinking about the $510 bet. I'm looking at this in terms of time because I've already indicated that I'm not going to end the session stuck. If I call and I'm correct, we'll be at the high point for the day and we can head to the bar right now to have some drinks with everyone. If I call and lose, I'll be down over 1,000 again, but I won't be leaving the casino for perhaps many more hours until I get unstuck. There's a lot riding on this decision. After 2.5 minutes of tanking, which I think breaks my all-time record, I decide that I'm okay with playing more poker if I have to. I call, figuring that we're going to see ace-king with either 2 clubs or just 1. We get bad news.
Yeah.
Wow, he got there.
I knew you had to be bluffing at some point.
This is a devastating blow. I may be here into the morning if things don't turn around. Almost 7 hours into the session, we're dealt Jack-6 suited in the under-the-gun straddle. 5 players have limped in. I check. We're going 6 ways to the flop. It's 5-3 deuce with 2 spades. We have a flush draw with a gutter and 1 over. It checks to us. I check. The middle position player checks. The cutoff bet's 30. The button calls. The small blind and big blind fold. Calling and check raising are both on the table. I call because I doubt my check raises will get much credit after losing a big pot, and since this is a limped pot with a ton of players, it's very possible that someone has something strong, like a straight or a set on a low board like this one. The middle position player folds. The turn is the jack of clubs, giving us top pair. I'm glad that we've improved, but I really wanted to hit a straight or a flush. I'm still not sure if we're best. I check. We get some great news as the other 2 players quickly check behind us. They wouldn't do that if they had 2 pair or better because they wouldn't want us to see a free card. With this new information, top pair is looking pretty good. The river is the 3 of clubs, pairing the board. It's tough to envision that either player has trip 3s or better. We're likely best, and we're going for the home run. I make a pot size bet of 150. The reason I went with the large sizing is partly for the same reason that I didn't want to check raise the flop. It probably appears like I'm tilting, and my bets aren't going to get as much respect with my current image. When I make a strong or even medium strength hand like in this instance, I'm going to bet larger than normal for value in order to punish non-believing opponents. The cutoff folds. The button is very suspicious that I'm tilting off extra dollars. In some cases, he'll be right. If the turn was a 10 of clubs and we bricked our draws without making a pair, I may have bet the same amount. The button could have a pocket pair like 7s or 6s, maybe he just has a 5. Either way, he's too curious to let me take it down without a fight.
He calls, we show him what we took him to Thin Value Town with.
Yeah. That's good too. I figured it was Jack 4 or something. Nice hand.
Good bet. That was a good bet, yeah.
Great bet.
I thought he had a 3.
We get the victory. Still, we're down $800 when we see Jack 9 of spades in the cutoff. When you're in the hole for piles, Jack 9 of spades in the right lighting looks a lot like aces. Under the gun limps in for 5. His name is Ty Joseph. The hijack raises to 20. I call. Brandon Fraser's in the small blind and needs revenge for the boat over boat hand previously. He 3-bets at 60. This is way too small of a sizing since there are multiple opponents, and the star from G.I. Joe, the Rise of Cobra, will be playing from out of position. Even the under the gun limper isn't too concerned about the price. He calls for 55 more. The hijack calls for 40 more. We're getting over 5 to 1 on a call. We make it for 40 more as well. We're going 4 ways to the flop. It's 10-7-4 with 2 spades. We've got a flush draw and a straight draw with 1 over. Phenomenal flop for us. Everyone's eagerly waiting to see what the pre-flop 3-better's going to do. The mummy returns with a bet of 210. The action is heating up as the under the gun player jams for 400 total. The hijack gets out of there. Brandon has about 650 on top of his $200 bet. There's no way I'm folding when we've got the world. We only have one option that makes much sense.
Come on. Oh!
Brandon is deep in the tank. It seems like he has an overpair. I'm hoping that neither opponent has better spades. While one of the lone wolves is contemplating what to do, all I can think about is if I win this pot, I'll finally be out of the hole for today after 7 hours of playing. Over a minute elapses before Linkovic-Shimovsky folds what he'd later say is pocket queens. We get some interesting news from the under the gun player.
I'm not very strong.
This is something that I hate hearing because that means that he could have a higher flush draw. Even if he has a small pair, he's in the lead.
You probably have me beat then.
We're going to need to improve by hitting either an 8 or possibly a spade. We get it right on the turn with the deuce of spades. We have a hand with a ton of value now. It's still tough to know if we've got the winner. The river is the 4 of hearts pairing the board. Not too concerning because it's unlikely that the opponent has a full house after saying that he wasn't very strong previously. We show the jiggity high flush. Under the gun is in disbelief because we got there, and he knows from seeing my vlogs that I almost never get there. Today is just sort of my day in the sense that I made a ton of big hands, but it's also not really my day since I got torched earlier on, and I'm now just trying to battle back to even. Under the gun finally shows he has Jack-10 offsuit. He flopped top pair, and we wrecked his world to win one final pot. It's been a long day with lots of meetup gamers waiting at the bar for us to all get drinks together. I can feel good about ending off here and booking a win. Finally.
That was one of the absolute wildest sessions I played. I think I hit like 4 sets or something at least. I had a bunch of full houses, and then that last hand, the all-in, hit the spade, got the win there, and ended up winning $15 on the day. So I was down 1,000 immediately. I was up a couple hundred. I got stuck 1,100 again after that, and then made a nice comeback win. So a wild up and down roller coaster, and now it's time for drinks.
We head to the bar to unwind with everyone and talk about poker and non-poker related topics. Then the next day we play 2-3, where I'm mostly just doing Instagram updates. We see a big hand here developing in a PLO double board bomb pot with a player named Christina calling an all-in on the turn when there are 3 deuces on the top board and 3 aces on the bottom board. Christina isn't sweating too much about the rivers.
I have an ace and a deuce.
I switch how I'm filming because double quads is something that I've never seen before, and it's definitely vlog worthy. Pretty incredible.
Nice hand, nice hand. That's awesome. Quads.
Do you remember Gus from the previous Hustler vlog? Well, he's back, and he's running better than he did in the prior episode when we stacked him with queens versus his jiggities. He gets it all in here with pocket aces, and they hold for him to win a big pot.
Nice hand, Gus.
Thank you. Oh, finally. Thank you.
Yep. Day 2 of the meetup game is a lot of fun. We get 16 games at 2-3. People literally come in from all over the world.
Lee, nice to meet you. You've flown
Nice to meet you. From South Korea for you.
awesome, dude.
Yeah, thank you.
Sweet. Thank you.
I'm in for $500 total today. You can see that I'm up about $200 in this shot, and also up a few Spider-Man comic books given to me by this gentleman here named Brandon. I ended up having kind of the opposite day that I had during the 5-5 session. While playing 2-3, I was up a good chunk nearly the entire time, and ended up losing several hundred at my last table of the night to dip $90 below the even mark, and I booked a loss not only for the session, but ultimately for the trip. I netted negative $75 from the 2 sessions, which will be tough to financially recover from.
That's it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like and subscribe buttons because it helps out the channel a ton. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to let me know in the comment section. I'm happy to get back to you. Sorry to Brandon Fraser for all the Brendan Fraser jokes. He was just such a cool guy, and I appreciate him giving me the Olympic jacket, and I appreciate everybody else who showed up. These meetup games are a ton of fun for Andrew and I to meet you and hang out with you. And I'm looking forward to the next few that are coming up. We've got the July 26th one at the Lodge, and then September 1st at the Tampa Hard Rock. But on more sad news, my dad passed away recently on July 14th, and that's why I'm up here in California right now. He's the reason that I got into poker. He got a job in the casino industry, and he took home a CD-ROM game where I could play poker against simulated opponents. So every day after school, I would kind of play that game, and then I would play around the kitchen table with him and my brother's friends. And at 17, I told him that I wanted to play for a living. He told me that he never wanted to hear me say that again. He'd seen gambling ruin a lot of people's lives, and so he didn't want me to go down that path. I went to college that, he and my mom paid for, and I'm very grateful for them for doing that. And then after college, I won a seat into the main event. I won a $100 satellite into the main event, and then started taking poker a lot more seriously while I was working a job as a leasing consultant in San Francisco and playing at Lucky Chances. Decided to play poker for a living at 24. He was cool with it. And then I went broke, and he's like, oh, Brad probably got that out of his system. Glad that phase is over. I went back to school. I got my master's in accounting, worked for Ernst & Young for a year. And then I told my dad I was gonna play poker again for a living, and he was livid. He did not want me to play a second time after it didn't go well the first time, and understandably so. But, I played for a year. I was doing okay. And then I started the vlogs in 2016. And I started the vlogs to show my parents what my life was like as a professional poker player, and so that they would see I wasn't just wasting my life away, that I was good, and that I was taking it seriously. And my dad right away just loved the vlogs. He loved people, commenting on the videos. And then when the meetup games started with Andrew, he loved going to those. He went out to Grayton several times, and he really enjoyed meeting everybody and talking with everybody. The last full day that I spent with him, I took him out to the WSOP, and there were a handful of people that would say hi, up and down the hallways, and he would stop and talk with them. And I'm very grateful for the time that I had with him, and I have so many good memories, and I miss him, and I love him a lot. And I know that he really appreciated everybody supporting the channel. And one of the last things that he said to me was to just never stop doing the vlogs. So I'm gonna keep this going as long as I can. I appreciate all the support, all the messages on Instagram and Twitter and everything. Thank you very much. Hope you guys are all doing well. Stay safe. Good luck at the tables, and I'll see you next time.
Hey, Big Brad, it's your dad. Hey, I just watched your video that you put out on the 27th, and I just thought it was fantastic, and I wanted to tell you that. It was fantastic. And also, one of the things that is so amazing about it is your your followers. They absolutely love you. And so I was, part of the reason that I wanted to just kind of talk with you briefly was that Matt was saying, and you've told me too, that you were trying to figure out why the views are funny, and I have no idea myself. As you know, I'm not, I know nothing about YouTube, but I would not stop doing them because they're just great, Brad. They are really, really great, and your followers absolutely love you. You have, I don't even know how you did it. It's like a phenomena, what you've done. It's so amazing. So don't ever stop doing your primary channel. Not for a little bit, not for a long bit. Just don't ever stop. You are an amazing, talented, and smart individual. You'll figure out what the trick is with YouTube and just figure it out, but do not stop. All right? America, the world would not, I was just reading some of the comments, on your latest one, the one on the 27th, and that's amazing. All right, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
Hello.
Good timing. We got the food out still.
Oh yeah. Say hi.
Hi. Who am I saying hi to?
The vlog.
The vlog? Oh
Yeah.
no.
Brad, welcome home.
Yeah. Welcome home, Brad.
Yay, Brad, it's so good to see you. Just finished the session. We played 6 hours. I won $3,160, and it was a hometown meetup game, so it was super special for me to have my family out here, to have my girlfriend and my dad. He walked up during the biggest pot of the night. He hasn't seen me play poker too much, so that was really cool that he got to see that.